Let's shift it to visions for the future. Bell Lightbox, fantastic resource for building young Canadian filmmakers, talent resources, and what I'm really excited about is those. Is it 6, 8 cinemas? Five. Sorry. And what are the plans for those? Are you going to be screening films all year round? Is that going to be another showcase for Canadian cinema in the city? What's the plan?
Do you want to take that?
Sure. Yeah, there's going to be 5 cinemas ranging in size from 100 to 550 seats. They're going to be running every day, and films from around the world, Canadian films, historical films, retrospectives, as well as new material. Our festival will be housed there. We're going to partner with some of the other local film festivals. We hope to house them. And we really want it to be a true hub of activity, not just for Canadian filmmakers and filmmakers from around the world, but also for them to intersect with an audience, which I think is absolutely crucial. It was one of the founding principles of the festival to put the creative community in this country in contact with an audience who they were separated from. So this will be that place. And when you talk about developing an appreciation for Canadian films, Canadian filmmakers, I think that's absolutely vital to make sure that there's that connection between an audience and their creative community. I mean, it's vital. And I think for far too long, there's been a separation between our audience base and our creative talent. They somehow distrust each other. They're not in contact with each other in the way I think they are in other cultures. So the building is really designed to be that, to be a true catalyst, a true home, a place, an area of critical mass where a lot of things, a lot of thinking, a lot of ideas, like a university. I mean, a university is just this plethora of ideas and innovation. And I think that hopefully the building will be exactly that. It will hum with activity. It will celebrate all aspects of cinema, the future as well as the past. I think the future is really, really important to us as we move into huge breakthroughs in technology. And kids and teenagers are obviously really, really excited about image making, and they're using images all the time. And how can we harness that? How can we give it an outlet? And how can we actually provide a context? I think the context is very, very important for people, to have a framework, to have a sense of possibilities and a sense of what has been done before. And a sense of I think the mentoring aspect of it is going to be very interesting to bring some of the key creative people in this country and from outside into contact with a new young generation. That to me is, I think, one of the most exciting things. It's always been exciting at the film festival, and I think it'll be really, really exciting in Bell Lightbox.
I think just to add to what Piers has said, the fact that we'll have 5 cinemas in Bell Lightbox is great, but it's almost as important that we'll have a bar, and we'll have a cafe, and we'll have learning studios, and we'll have areas where people will actually gather and talk about Canadian films. We do something every year called Canada's Top 10, for instance, which is a panel of people sit down and they look at all of the Canadian production in a given year. They choose what they consider to be the top 10 Canadian films of the year. Those films then we screen them for audiences, and we'll do that in Bell Lightbox. And we'll invite all of Toronto to come and see these movies and talk about them and talk to the filmmakers. We always have the directors or people from the film at those screenings talking to the audience, responding in Q&As, and then that discussion continues in the bar and out into the streets afterwards. And I think that sense of a kind of a commons where Canadian cinema becomes a subject of conversation and of thought and reflection is really one of the things that we can do in a building that we haven't been able to do in quite the same way before.
And frankly, it's going to be another theatrical outlet for Canadian films. And I think that's really, really important as it becomes increasingly difficult to get your film shown. Will be one of those places that will be very sympathetic to that. So we'll be running, I would imagine, more Canadian documentaries and more Canadian feature films that we've shown at the festival that don't go into regular commercial release. We'll give them a week's run, an opportunity for them to connect with an audience, and that will be a key role that we'll play.